Hello, and thanks for listening to PXP Podcast. It's a show about leadership, self-development, personal growth, and accountability. I'm your host, Jamie Yarrow. Now, you can catch our podcast on almost any platform or directly from our website at pxppodcast.com. To hear it hot off the press, check out our host on the Podbean app. If you have questions or want to hear a particular topic discussed, or even want to be a guest on the show, connect with me on social and send me a message. Now, are you ready to kick off today's episode? All right, here we go. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you may be listening in. Welcome to another episode of PXP. I'm your host, Jamie Yarrow, and we are live from the Cloffice today, and that is the Closet Office. We call it the Cloffice. Now, I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but here in Alabama, it has been cold. Over the last week, it has been really cold. And I grew up in Wisconsin, so I'm familiar with really cold winters, but we just don't get those temperatures here in Alabama, and so it's not something that we're used to. The northern half of the state actually has been basically shut down for the last week for bitter cold temperatures and icy roads. It's been just a mess up there. A lot of roads have been impassable, and so the northern half of the state has really kind of just been shut down for the last week or so, and I think they're starting to crawl out of that now, but it's been cold down here as well. I'm kind of down in central Alabama, and it's been cold here, been below freezing most of the week. And so that's just not stuff we're used to seeing here in Alabama. And my little brother, he still lives in Wisconsin. And so, Rob, I don't know if you're listening, but you can come get your weather out of my backyard anytime you're ready. I'm ready for it to go. So I don't know if you're listening, but come on and get it. No, seriously, thankfully, we are going to have some warmer temps coming next week. We'll actually have some severe weather, I think, coming later in the week because it's supposed to get up to like 70 degrees. So it's crazy that we can have, temperatures of 15 degrees, this week and 70 next week. But that's Alabama for you. The old saying in Alabama is, if you don't like the weather, stick around because it's going to change. Well, my oldest son came in the house today. I was in the kitchen. I was cooking some pepperoncini chicken, as we call it. My daughter shared this recipe with me. You take some chicken breasts and sear both sides of them in a pan, and then pour some pepperoncini juice and some of the pepperoncinis in over the chicken, and you let that simmer until the internal temperature of that chicken gets to be about 165 or more, and you can cut that off, and you are ready to roll. So give that a shot and see what you think about it. But my oldest son came in, and he said, "Dad, you're not going to like this. You're not going to like hearing this." And so I'm bracing myself for whatever it is that he's about to tell me, and he says, "There are spots of oil on the garage floor." We've been parking the Ram. We've got a 2020 Ram. We've been parking that in the garage over the last week or two, and so we crawled up underneath it, and sure enough, it's leaking oil from somewhere. We couldn't tell exactly where it's coming from, but it's leaking oil. So he was right. I did not like hearing that, and it's only got 75,000 miles on it, but it's out of warranty, of course, and so we'll kick that can down the road for a couple days, and we'll tackle that next week when the auto shops open back up. So, ironically, finding out that the truck is leaking oil goes hand in hand with this week's podcast. And so today we're going to talk about something that really every one of us faces at some point in our life, and really multiple points in our lives. It's inevitable. And you might have just come out of it. You may be in the middle of it now, or maybe you're about to face it. But the idea is, I want to talk about the challenges that we face in life. Life can be like a roller coaster, right? Filled with ups and downs, and sometimes, and maybe even lately, over the last few years, it feels like more downs, doesn't it? And I want to just be clear from the beginning, friends. Life is not always easy, right? But you know what? The challenges that we face in life, they are part of what makes us who we are. They push us to grow, and they push us to learn, and they push us to become better versions of ourselves. And I know that sounds cliche, but I end every podcast with that thought, that I hope that something we say in this podcast helps you to become a better version of you. You know, our challenges that we face, they teach us about resilience, and they teach us determination. They teach us grit, because sometimes that's what we have to just get through a challenge, right? Is just pure grit. So let's start on a positive note talking about this, and let's just acknowledge that it's okay to face difficulties, that we're going to, that's part of life, that it's not, oftentimes it's not anything that we did wrong. It's not anything that is our own doing, but sometimes challenges just come. Now, sometimes it's our own doing, right? Sometimes choices we make create challenges that we face, but sometimes things are just out of our control and we face challenges. And I think it's more than okay. I think it's necessary for our personal growth. Without challenges, I don't think we grow. And I know sometimes when you're in the middle of it, that doesn't even set well. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't even make sense, right? Sometimes we want to make excuses about why we're in this challenge, or we want to have a little pity party sometimes, right? We want it just to be over. But here comes the tough love part. Life doesn't care about our excuses. It doesn't care if we're having a bad day. Look, it don't care if money is tight. It doesn't care if our hours are long or how many times we've stumbled before. You see, everyone has their battles to fight, right? That's just how life works. And it's not about what happens to you, but it's about how you respond to it. Did you hear that? It's not about what happens to you. It's about how do you respond? What do you do afterwards? There's only one thing that we can truly control, and that's our own reactions. That's our own emotions. That's all we can really control. And here's the hard pill to swallow. The only way forward is to take the first step. I get it. You're going through something that is incredibly challenging. But no matter how hard it is, no matter how uncertain that path may seem, you have to get up. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and you have to move forward. You can't control everything, but like I just said, what you can control are your actions. And this sounds weird, but you can embrace the discomfort. You can accept the challenges, and you can let go of those things that are beyond your reach. You can stop wasting time on social media drama or seeking validation through likes or follows, or even worrying what other people think of you. Listen, haters are always going to hate, right? That's their problem, not yours. So be the person that rises above the mess. Be the person who refuses to be defined by circumstances, by family, by location, by your past mistakes. Your journey is your own. And listen, you have the power to shape it. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It might not be easy. Listen, if we're talking about achieving your goals rarely is easy. But you know what's harder than that? Regret. Regret for not trying. Regret for not taking that first step. Right? Don't let a little bit of fear or your comfort zones hold you back. Listen, here's your wake-up call. Right now is the time to act. Don't wait for a perfect moment when there are no challenges in your life, because that may never come. Embrace the discomfort, if you will. Accept those challenges and take that first step. You've got this. I believe in you. If there's nobody cheering you on, listen, I'm cheering you on. I believe in you. I know this. You're stronger than you think you are. Think about some of the challenges that you've faced in the past. I want you to think about maybe the most difficult thing that you've ever gone through. Maybe it was last year, maybe the year before, maybe it has to do with COVID or something else. Just think about, stop and think, like there's something in your mind, the most challenging thing that you've ever had to go through. You got it? All right. When you were going through that, I promise you thought this, I'll never get through this. I'm not going to be able to get through this thing. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I'll see the other side. I don't know how I'll ever get through. Those were thoughts that went through your mind. Can I remind you of something? You made it. You're here today because you got past that, whatever that was. But at the time, you thought it was the most challenging thing that you'd ever faced in your life. And it may have been. I'm not discounting how difficult that time in your life was. I'm not discounting how low that valley was or how challenging the situation was. But what I'm saying is, you thought you wouldn't get through it. But here you are. You did it. You did get through it. And I believe you can get through whatever life throws your way because you're strong and you're tough and you're resilient. You're stronger than you even think you are. Challenges are part of the journey. They're not the destination. You don't arrive at the challenge. That's part of the journey. So wrap your arms around that thing. Embrace that challenge. Right? Kick that door down and learn from it. Just keep moving forward. You don't have to move fast. You don't even have to not stumble, right? But just keep moving forward. Life is waiting for you to rise above and to reach your full potential, which I believe you can do. Listen, your secret weapon is resilience. Resilience, it's the ability to bounce back from setbacks. The ability to bounce back from failures, and more than that, but being stronger and wiser than you were before. You know, every challenge that you go through, that thing you thought about just a minute ago, that challenge, there was so much that you learned through that. You got so much stronger through that. You might say, no, I got beat down through that. And you may have, but listen, on the other side, you came out so much stronger, so much wiser than before. Think about all the times that you faced adversity. Did you crumble or did you rise above? I bet if you think back, more times than not, you rose above. You faced your fears and you conquered them. Fear is a natural part of life, folks. It's what keeps us safe in dangerous situations, but it can also hold us back from seizing opportunities. I love when I see people seize the opportunities that are before them. They take advantage of what opportunities life gives them. You know, they don't sit back and take the safe route and, you know, just maybe one day I'm going to do X, Y, Z, but not now. You know, one day I want to do this, but not now. I love to see people when life gives them opportunities, they just seize that. They seize the opportunities that are in front of them. Don't let fear control your life. Listen, face it head on. Think about this. Courage is not the absence of fear. Listen to me. Courage is not the absence of fear, but it's the ability to take action despite fear. It's being able to move forward, even if you have fear. It's being able to move forward and push through it. And if you stumble and you fall, and maybe you even fail, Lord knows I've failed plenty of times in my life. Failure is not the end. Failure is a stepping stone to success. You will not see one single successful person tell their story and not talk about the times that they failed to get where they are. Not one. Find me one. I'll wait. Right? I challenge you to find somebody who reached their goals, who found success in whatever it was they were trying to achieve, and they did it without failure. It doesn't exist because failure is part of the process. Failure is what we do, and then we learn and we get ourselves back up, and then we go forward some more. Every successful person has faced failure. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we improve. Embrace failure not as the enemy to what you're trying to achieve, but as a teacher. Learn from your mistakes and then adapt and keep moving forward. You've heard that saying, adapt and overcome, right? So that's when we fail. We fail and we make a mistake, and then we keep moving forward. You ever heard the story about WD-40? You know what WD-40 is. You probably all have a can of it in your garage. I do, in there by the leaking Dodge Ram. I guess it's not a Dodge anymore, but the leaking Ram. There's a can of WD-40 out there. And WD-40 is amazing, right? It's amazing stuff. But do you know how it got its name? WD-40? It was the 40th time that they tried to make that recipe, that solution, that product. 39 times prior, they failed. They didn't hit the mark 39 times. On the 40th time, they got it. Are you willing to fail 39 times in search of success in your goals? What if number 40 is when you find success? I dare say that most of us won't even get to 39. I dare say most of us won't try 10 times. What if you fail 9 times and on 10 you reach success? Right? If you're sure that that's the direction you should be going, failure's not the end, it's a stepping stone to success. You learn from your mistakes, you adapt and overcome, and you keep moving forward. You know, success is often a result of just pure perseverance, right? I'm thinking of a business owner right now who has just persevered and just kept moving forward over the last 20 plus years that I have seen him grow his business. And through the roller coaster of life and through ups and downs, he just keeps persevering. And he's got a successful business. And I'm very proud of him and what he's got and what he came from and where he's at now. And it's persistence that gets you there. It's about pushing through when the going gets tough, because it will get tough. It's about not giving up, even when it feels like the world is against you. Because it feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? Remember, success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And sometimes there's a lot of ups and downs in that marathon. But you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. And eventually, you will get there. I believe it. I believe in you. I want to be your biggest cheerleader. Listen, surround yourself with positivity and people who will uplift you. Your environment, whether you believe it or not, plays a significant role in your mindset. And sometimes we miss this. Sometimes we think that our environment has nothing to do with our mindset and that we can just overcome our environment. But sometimes our environment is the very thing that frames our mindset. Right? If you're consistently surrounded by negativity, I don't care how strong you are, it is going to seep into your thoughts and into your actions, and they're going to begin to become negative. Right? So choose to be around those people who inspire and who motivate you. Choose to listen to the things that motivate you and things that inspire you and things that uplift you and things that are positive and things that pour into you. Watch what goes in, right? Be careful of what you're watching. Be careful of what you're listening. Be careful of the people that you hang around. The old saying that talks about how we are like our 5 closest friends, right? We mimic those that are around us. We absorb that environment and we become what we're around. So choose to be around those that inspire you. Life is not about the destination. It's about the journey. So enjoy the process. Celebrate and savor those small victories, because multiple small victories turn into big ones. Don't be too hard on yourself when things don't go as planned, but embrace the detours. Oftentimes those detours lead to the most amazing, unexpected places, right? So friends, I want you to know you got this. Life is tough, but so are you. Embrace the challenges, face your fears, learn from your failures, persist, and surround yourself with positivity. Remember this, success is not just about reaching the top, but it's about the journey and the person that you become along the way. So, get up, Take that first step and let's conquer those challenges together. Life is waiting for you to rise above and to shine. Well, folks, that is all the time that I've got for today. Listen, I don't know what you're going through. I don't have any idea, but I know this. Either we are just coming out of a challenge, we're in the middle of one, or we've got one on the horizon. And I hope that something that I said today, I hope it'll be a help to you. If you enjoyed this podcast, won't you share it with your 5 closest friends, those 5 that I talked about just a few minutes ago? Won't you share it with your network? It would be so awesome if you could just share our podcast so that we can get our message out to even more people. But listen, most of all, I hope that something that was said today helps you to become a better version of yourself. My name's Jamie Yarrow, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day.